Oh, no, definitely. That's really much more fun for Charlotte. Got to do my ticket work yesterday.
Before I call the meeting to order, I normally would start the meeting earlier than but I'm starting it on time tonight because I want to give everybody an opportunity that's coming to be able to be here for this meeting and for the swearing in of the newly elected officials. So if everybody would, I now declare and I'm going to do the invocation, and after the invocation, I'd like to ask the Chief Thornburg, would you please lead us in pledge? Let us pray. Our most kind, gracious, loving Heavenly Father, our Lord, we come to you again just as humbly as we know how, bowing and thanking you, God, for each and every blessing of life that you bestow upon us, for the health, the strength, and the ability that you give us to be able to come out and have this meeting and to be able to come before our citizens and conduct the business of the town and do it in a manner that would be pleasing to them and pleasing to you, most important. And Lord, now as we go further, we would ask that you would just continue blessings upon those that are in the hospitals, rest homes, wherever they may be, Lord, whatever sickness they're facing. We know, Lord, that there are a lot of people still facing issues with COVID, and we pray that you would just continue to bless us through that. Go with us now through the rest of the meeting. Look over us. Give us a safe journey and trip back home to each and every one that's come out tonight. And I ask all this in Jesus Christ's holy name. Amen. Face flag, please.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. We'll get into this agenda. Okay, the next item on the agenda, item number 4, is any additions or deletions to the agenda from Wilson or attorney or anybody? Okay, there being none, the next item I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as stated.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the agenda as stated.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? There being none, all those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, none opposed, motion carries. Item number 6, consent agenda. All items may be approved in one motion. Items requiring further discussion will be pulled and voted upon separately. Do we have any of those, Wilson? You know, okay. All
Mr.
right,
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as stated.
have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, none opposed, motion carries. Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes. A, under consent.
Mayor, we just already got that.
And then we've got,
We read it together and continue.
okay. All right, appointment to Wilkes Medical Center Foundation. Wilson,
That one as well, yeah, that one was just approved as well.
okay. Thank you. Okay, item number 7, reflections from outgoing commissioners. Commissioner Ferguson, your name is here.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the good people of North Wilkesboro for voting me in for the past 4 elections, giving me 16 years to serve the town. It has been an emotionally fulfilling experience to be here and to be able to do this job, and I'll always be grateful to you. I want to thank my fellow board members, not only this board, but all those through the past 16 years, because every 2 years the faces can change and do change on this board. And I want to thank the town staff, because without them, our jobs will be far more difficult. They teach us a lot that we need to know, and they perform far more services than most people realize. And I want to thank the good citizens of the town, because they've given us patience through the years, guidance, and support. So thank you so much, everyone, for what you've done. All elected people come in with with interests and ideas that we want to see put into action to be fulfilled. And but without our coworkers on this board, those ideas do not come to fruition. They just die a quick death. So we have to become good at working together. It takes skill and effort for us to learn to work together, and we have to sell the merits of our propositions to each other. There's nothing that any of us does alone. It's all a group effort. And with that in mind, I want to say that one of my proudest accomplishments in my time as commissioner is being a part of assuring that not just North Wilkesboro, but our entire community has the long-term, high-quality health care we need that's provided by Atrium Wake Forest Baptist Healthcare for about the next 25 more years on the current contract, and potentially 20 years after that. So that's pretty long-term, dependable healthcare for our community. And that is for our town-owned hospital. So that's something we can be proud of, and we believe that our asset will be well cared for by Wake Forest Baptist Atrium. There are 3 things that I've learned through these 16 years, and I wanted to share those 3 with you. One is, again, the value of our town staff. It just simply can't be overstated that they're in there day in and day out. People doing their work 5 days a week, find out it's going to snow tonight, and they'll come back and work all night long and all day the next day, and generally however long they're needed. It's just amazing that in today's world, we have the kind of people we do that work for North Wilkesboro. And our job is, as a board, is to provide the training they need to make sure that they have the equipment they need, and fair compensation is a critical factor in today's world. Number 2, and governing effectively requires education. Most of us, when we're first elected, really don't know a lot about how governing goes on. I didn't. And I'd heard the terms, the School of Government. I'd heard the terms, the League of Municipalities, when I attended meetings. But in all honesty, I really didn't know what they did and how they helped us. The town budgets for our education, and in turn, I have really benefited by budgeting some of my time to attend classes, generally by the School of Government and also by the League of Municipalities. The third item is, after about 12 years, I had a real insight, and that is there are times we'll back up a little bit. Generally, the board gets along really well. Just using the good manners we've all been taught since childhood goes a long way in helping people get along together. There will be times, though, that the board can be quite divided. And when you see a 3-2 vote, it certainly passes. Governing allows for that, but often it can mean something is just not right. And what I finally realized from that is that we may not have the information we need. I would recommend when that happens, and it surely will, that back up from an issue, take some time, learn more about it, learn yourselves, ask the staff to help out, share the information together. I can look back to virtually every issue we've been really at odds with each other through the years and realize information would have been the key. Even that first divisive hospital matter, if we'd had the information that we had 10 years later, there would have been a lot less division in our community. So that would be one thing I would like to leave with you. When you get real irritated with each other and cannot reach an agreement, try, that's me, people, but try to find a way to learn more and open your minds to each other's ideas. I really did come in pretty convinced that I always knew best. And through our sometimes active discussions together, I did learn we can learn from each other. So that's my last thought. But enjoy your time together. Best of luck to all of you who are newly elected, and call on those of us with time spent on the board if it looks like we might be able to help you. Thank you.
Maybe. I'm the next one up for reflections to speak about the things that I, as the mayor, serving not just as mayor, but I've spent 33 years of service as a public servant to the town of North Wilkesboro. I've enjoyed every bit of it. And I would encourage the incoming commissioners, mayor, to, as Debbie said, if there's anything that I could do or we could do, the outgoing people that would help you in your role in leadership, please feel free to do that. I've offered that up, and I'll continue to do that. Debbie has more or less gone over everything about it that I would reiterate too, and I would echo the things that she said and thought about what we've done and what we've accomplished as a board of commissioners in the town of North Wilkesboro. And I think one thing that I want to point out is when we got our downtown merchants are real important to our town. And for a long time, we had a one-way street. And that's basically what it amounted to for people coming to do any kind of shopping in the town of North Wilkesboro. One way, and they're gone. So when that occasion happened, we were, as a board, we discussed about taking it back to two-way, so that if you're coming and going to do any shopping, if you want to come down, as you come up from 6th Street, if you come up and going on downtown, you can find a place to park. You come back up the other way, and you don't have to go all the way around the loop to try to get a place to park and shop in the town of North Wilkesboro. As the mayor, I've tried very hard and been very diligent about trying to represent everyone in a fair way. And there's decisions that I've made along with the board, not just me. I can't make the decisions unless this group here approves it. I can suggest and recommend, but there's things that's going on with our town that some folk had some, as Debbie said, may disagree with how we improvised it and the things the way we approved it to be carried out. And those reflections kind of come back to the board and come back on me. And hey, it just goes with the territory. If you don't have a little bit of a hard, I'd put it this way, if you don't have a hard backbone and able to stand firm for what this board approves and what your citizens want, the most important thing that we need to and have tried to do is to represent citizens of the town of North Wilkesboro in a fair and diligent way that they might be able to, and not just in the downtown area, but throughout the whole community. And I'll just offer out the help any way I can to those that are incoming. Feel free to call on me and I'll do anything I can to help you in any way possible. Thank you very much, and God bless each and every one of you. It's been a great, I don't know if you say run or great time probably better for me to be able to serve the town of North Wilkesboro as a commissioner and as the mayor. And that's going to wrap it up for me. So I thank you for everything you've done, every one of you. Thank you very much. Okay, now comes time for the old board to adjourn. And at this time, I will call for a motion to have this board adjourn.
Mayor, I make the motion, we adjourn this board.
A second. I don't think I need a second. This board is adjourned. Okay. Let's see. Next item is the oath of office for Mark and incoming commissioners. You want me to stay till they do that, or?
If you like, that'll be fine. We
Okay.
got Judge Duncan here to give the oath.
Okay, good deal. I'd like to, so. All right. Otis Church. No, I'm sorry. Angela. Sorry, Angela.
No, you're fine. Yes, I do.
Do you have someone that you want to hold?
Yes, my parents.
Okay, let's come forward.
Okay. Okay, you do this.
All right. Before we get started, it is my honor and privilege to be here for the new town commissioners and for the new mayor. Thank you all for your service. I appreciate your leadership. It's always a great time. I think one of the best parts of my job is the swearing in ceremony because everybody's so happy and nobody's nervous about going to jail. So for the purposes of this, I spoke to Ms. Day. I've sworn in your county commissioners and last year as well as the Board of Education for the purposes of swearing in. I've asked if she wishes to take her mask off for the purpose of that. And I'm okay with that for the purpose of the swearing in ceremony, and I hope each of you are.
Just make sure I can, I don't have my glasses, so you need to just
You want me to
Got
do
your
it the easy
glasses on
way?
your head. Do it the easy way, yeah. I
All
got
you
my
have to
glasses
do
on.
at the very end is say, I do or I will.
Oh, no, I'll do it. No, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go that far. I got the glasses.
So we may want to switch sides since
Yes.
you'll place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Okay, if you'll repeat.
You ready?
Left hand on the
Oh, I'm
Bible, raise
sorry.
your right hand.
Now you got me all wrapped with that glasses. Okay,
All right, if you'll repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Angela Day,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of office
the duties of office
of Commissioner of the Town of North Wilkesboro
of Commissioner of the Town of North Wilkesboro
according to the best of my skills and ability.
according to the best of my skills and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. These are my parents, staying with me.
Sign all of them at the very end. All right.
Okay, listen, I got some more to tell y'all before we do this. This Bible was my great grandmother. It's over 150 years old. We took it out of the safe. And if you open it, it'll probably fall all to pieces. It is so fragile. But I thought it was so appropriate that I could use this tonight. Thanks, Jeff.
Come around, place your left hand in the Bible. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Otis Wing Church,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
constitutional laws
of the United States
of the United States,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
constitutional laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith.
that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Commissioner of the Town of North
of
Wilkesboro
the Commissioner of Town of North Wilkesboro,
according to the best of my skills and abilities,
according to the best of my skills and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Judge.
Anybody else? Come on. Come on, we've called it. Have them come on. How's your- You ready? So, place your left hand Bible and raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Mark Hauser,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Mayor of the Town of North Wilkesboro,
of Mayor of the Town of North Wilkesboro,
according to the best of my skills and ability,
according to the best of my skills and ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to call the new board for the town of North Wilkesboro to order, please. And we're going to have a recognition of the outgoing mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if you'd like to give the new commissioners the opportunity to make some remarks.
Hello, everybody. I started out in North Wilkesboro with a business called Ivy Ridge Traditions. And I was a retailer there for years, I still am. I've been there 22 years. And I just stayed in my little box and I sold my stuff. And then I'm gonna say, thankful to Debbie Ferguson. She came into my shop multiple times and said, I'd like for you to consider running for board. And I'd say no. And she'd come back maybe next year and I'd say no. I'm busy, I'm good. And there was something that came up on the board that I wasn't quite excited about, and I never went to board meetings. I'll just admit it. I thought they were boring. Never went, just didn't. And we had some issues about how big your building would be. You guys will remember this, and how small the building will be. And I was just determined. I left mad. I just thought I did not accomplish anything I wanted to accomplish that night. And I got to thinking about it, and you have to live in the city of North Wilkesboro to be a commissioner. Well, I didn't live in the city, but I went and bought me a house right on J Street. I guess it just overcome me. I was just determined. And I took on commissionership, not really thinking too much about it, how much hard work it would be. It is hard work, but it's wonderful work. We have great citizens to work with and for. And I can't say enough about everybody and how they've treated me over the last 4 years, both this board and the citizens that come and talk and shop with me all these years. But thank you guys, and I wish you the best of luck.
I'm not gonna give you a spiel like that.
Good or bad?
It's very simple. I love down in North Wilkesboro. My wife and I own a children's boutique downtown, and we decided to make this our home for the last 10 or 15 years. I would like to thank everyone who come tonight and the ones who supported me. I thank you very much for that. I'd like to thank Judge Duncan for all he did with us, for the coming and helping us with the swearing ceremony. I'm very honored and humbled for the opportunity to serve the citizens of North Wilkesboro. The citizens of North Wilkesboro need to understand, I am their commissioner. If they have a problem, I never have time. I always have time. Come see me. I'm a full-time commissioner. It's like Mark's gonna be a full-time mayor. He said, where are them steps at?
Here's the elevator.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Day, Commissioner Church. I didn't get here by myself. It was a long road, and I had a lot of help. And from the people in this room, And I'm also, the wheels have already started to turn as from the past several weeks. I've had numerous meetings with our town manager, Mr. Hooper, with our town clerk, Ms. Pearson, all the members of the board, Chief Thornburg, people here that are here tonight. Especially like to single out my lovely wife Carla with her encouragement and moments of self-doubt. She's been my rock. And also the Colorado gang is here. Both my daughters and my stepson are here. It was great for them to come in. Neighbors, friends, all the help has been innumerable. So I'm glad everyone's here. And but the board and everyone, the staff, everyone I've met has been very, very kind, very, very accommodating. I think we have a really good board. We're more alike than we are not. And that's a great thing. Everybody's been very, very reasonable and they've helped me. So the wheels have already started to turn, and I remember what I ran on. I haven't forgot it. And good things are going to happen, and the town will be a better place for it. And I think life will be better for all the citizens together in North Wilkesboro. Please keep us all in your prayers. Thank you very much. Yeah. You can tell it's the first time I saw that agenda. Learn together. We're going to honor the outgoing commissioners, and you've heard from Debbie Ferguson. Would you please step up? There's a couple small gifts. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's see what we can
Learn as we go.
We were told to be careful with this. Oh. Presented to Commissioner Debbie Ferguson in appreciation of your many years of dedicated service to the citizens of North Wilkesboro, 2005 to 2021. So beautiful. Yes. Let's see what we have. Wilson, is this safe to open? Oh, how beautiful. Oh, it's celebratory bells in here. Thank you. Looks like some handmade pottery from a local potter. Yes. Thank you all so much.
Be careful with your bag.
There's what in there?
One more. Another one.
Okay, thank you. I think I've got it. Okay, thank you.
Robert, you come up, please.
This is a clock presented to Mayor Robert L. Johnson in appreciation of your 32 years of dedicated service to the citizens of North Wilkesboro as Commissioner and Mayor from 1989 to 2021.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank
God bless.
And we're not quite finished, folks, but we're getting there. This is a proclamation. I'm going to read it in front of everyone. Whereas Robert Louis Johnson will leave service to the town of North Wilkesboro on December 7th, 2021, after 12 years as mayor and 20 years as commissioner. And whereas Robert was born in Wilkes County on April 30th, 1943, and grew up in a household with 4 brothers and 2 sisters. During his youth, he and his siblings toured the region as the Johnson Family Singers Gospel Group. Whereas in 1961, Robert joined the United States Army and served with distinction in Munich, Germany for 2 years in the Battery and Arms Room. He was honorably discharged in 1964. And whereas after his military service, Robert plied his trade as an electrician, installing the wiring on some of the area's most prominent properties. And whereas in 1981, Robert won a seat on the North Wilkesboro Board of Commissioners, where he served 3 consecutive terms. And whereas after 8 years off the board in 2001, Robert again won a seat on the Board of Commissioners, served in that capacity until 2009. And whereas in 2009, Robert ran for and became mayor of North Wilkesboro. And whereas commissioner and mayor, Robert was active in the High Country Council of Governments, the Downtown North Wilkesboro Partnership, and the North Wilkesboro Housing Authority. And whereas Robert was a diligent promoter of the town as an area for film and television, with many productions completed here during his term. And he was a strong champion for the revitalization of North Wilkesboro Speedway. And whereas Robert's mayoral tenure saw the creation of the Wilkes Industrial Park, a long-term lease agreement between the town and Wilkes Medical Center, the opening of notable businesses, including Copper Barrel Distillery, Walgreens, Key City Antiques, Rose Glen Manor, Anchor Coffee, and others. And whereas Robert's career has been long and fruitful, and his leadership honorable. His work for the people of North Wilkesboro personifies the spirit of public service and is worthy of recognition. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark R. Hauser, Mayor of North Wilkesboro, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of the town of North Wilkesboro, past and present, do hereby proclaim December 8th, 2021 as Robert Louis Johnson Day in the town of North Wilkesboro and commend its observance to all residents. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that a copy of this proclamation suitably engrossed is given to Robert Louis Johnson, former mayor of the town of North Wilkesboro, proclaimed this day, 7th day of December, 2021.
Yeah.
Item 14, 2022 Board Commissioners meeting calendar. Mr. Hooper?
Yes, sir. So it's just a matter of setting the meeting calendar for the year so that we can duly advertise those meetings according to
the requirements in state statute. You'll notice that there are some dates that are not filled in. Those are yet to be determined. So we'll have to amend the calendar in future weeks as we decide on those meetings.
Okay.
I'll share, Mayor, the product of one of our recent conversations, and that's the possibility of moving the board retreat up until January or February instead of March. So clearly, when that's decided, we'll need to amend this calendar, but this will set the basic schedule of meetings for the year.
Do we need to do anything further on that tonight, Mr. Hooper?
No, sir.
And then item 15, emerging issues.
There, I could use a motion and approval of the calendar as stated.
So,
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the calendar as stated.
thank you, Commissioner Palmer. Do I have a second? I'll second. All those in favor, raise your right hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, emerging issues. One thing we talked about, I have with the incoming board, was to save time and prepare and give Mr. Hooper more time to prepare with the information we need to make an informed decision. Is to have once a month, we're going to try to have a planning agenda meeting, and that's just a meeting to hold the commissioners and ask them what they'd like to see on the board and what we should work on. And we can only have 2 at a time. So those, they're going to rotate. The first one will be this Monday, coming Monday, the 13th at 5:30. So then we'll have minutes. I'll be there, 2 commissioners. This first meeting is going to be Commissioner Church and Commissioner Palmer, and then we'll rotate. And then there'll always be 2 different people. It won't be signed as a pair. They'll rotate out. Okay. So then what we're going to do is I'll corral the other 3 as soon as we get the meetings from town clerk. And then we'll speak to the other 3 and see if it's something they agree with that they would like to see on the agenda. Then at that point, when it's brought up, it's on the agenda, then it would be brought up at a town meeting and discussed and voted on at that time. So that's what one thing we've discussed about doing. So, and while we're here, I don't know if anyone wanted to bring up any other items and other things we discussed would like to see on the agenda. I know Mr. Hooper's already shared some of the things that are going to be on the town meeting on the 16th.
I wanted to bring up something that we spoke about before you guys got here, but I've also spoken to you about it. And it has to do with the pay for the North Wilkesboro Police Department. I feel like it's a liability for the town for us to be behind Wilkesboro and the county regarding officer pay. I think that we need to be competitive so we can recruit the best people and keep them. And also, I think we're losing money when we train them and then they go somewhere else. So I would like to see us jump on that conversation and get something done before budget season next year. I would like to see us address that, I guess, as soon as possible.
I agree. If I may, it's something that I started attending town meetings back this past January, and I've seen it brought up at times. And talking to police officers and also people that have been involved in law enforcement for many years, and also retired captains, a friend of mine, that we have just quickly fallen behind. And there's a deep gap between the pay of starting pay for North Wilkesboro officers and the officers in Wilkesboro, and also the deputies for the county. So we need to pony up. We need to find the money. We need to get our officers paid so that we can offer them a competitive wage for recruitment and retention. And so I understand, speaking with the chief, that we find good people, we hire them, which costs about $5,700, including the vest, and then they leave for more money. Young fella trying to get started in life, more money. I understand that completely, but we got to put a stop to it. We have to have wages that are competitive. And if we get this on the agenda for the 16th, Chief, could you supply information as far as where we are, where Wilkesboro is, and where the deputies are, and where we need to be?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll discuss it further then. There's a lot more I know that goes into this other than just saying we're going to give them a raise, because we have officers that started and are going to be below what the new ones are going to hire. So they're going to have their pay raised too, which is only fair, for morale. Okay, so we'll get into that further I think that's we'll discuss that further next week, but I think that's an item we'd love to have on the agenda. We also had discussed, I know you and I traded emails earlier today about a proclamation for the, okay.
Sure, clerk has copies of that for the board consideration.
Okay. Now that's, we don't need a motion to vote, that's,
You can claim that.
we'll find it, yeah, I think we discussed that. I mean, you know, so. One thing when I started to attend meetings was I noticed with town hall, we got a nice flagpole up there, no flag. And I think there should be a flag flying on the flagpole every day.
And
Now it's been, this, actually, it was Commissioner Palmer, the first person that brought that to attention. My gosh, you're right, there isn't one up there. So be that as it may. Mr. Hooper had informed me that it's difficult to get to, has to be accessed by a fire escape. So we suggested that get an outdoor style flag and put a light on it according to the section number 6 in the flag code, and let it fly 24/7. When the wind beats it, it gets shredded, put another one up. But there's one there all the time that should be there. So therefore, this is resolution, pardon me, 2021-02, resolution regarding the flying of American flag at North Wilkesboro Town Hall. Whereas the United States flag symbolizes pride, sacrifice, opportunity, hope, strength, and freedom. Ideals that taken together define patriotism and what it means to be an American. Whereas the town of North Wilkesboro is a patriotic community and believes in the ideals represented by the American flag. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the town of North Wilkesboro that the town of North Wilkesboro shall fly an American flag atop town hall, and that the flag shall be an all-weather flag, so that it may fly during inclement weather as prescribed in section 6 of the U.S. Flag Code, and that the flag shall be flown 24 hours a day and lighted according to section 6 of the U.S. Flag Code, and that town staff are instructed to take whatever measures are necessary to execute this resolution in a timely manner. And that'll be adopted the 7th day of December in the year 2021, North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Everybody good with that? Yeah.
Good. I'll make a motion to do that.
First got it. Any other emerging issues anyone have?
Yes, Mark, I need to make a request of the town manager, please.
Yes, sir.
Wilson, since the budget was passed a few weeks ago by the governor's office, I know you've been digging through it to try to make sense of it all and what the ramifications are for Wilkesboro, County, Wilkes, all of that implies. But you, if it's not probable for the 16th, if one of the first meetings after the new year, could you kind of give us what you have determined, because I know there was some things in there that could benefit us, but I would also like to know, is there a price to be paid? If you could do that, please.
Well, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Palmer, I can give a brief update now and perhaps have that supplemented by Representative Elmore, who can also speak authoritatively on what's in the budget. Like to do that now, or we can wait until the next meeting if that's your preference.
is he still here?
We'll wait till next time.
I think it's worth saying thank you to Mr. Elmore for getting the money and stuff that he got for us through the budget.
Yes.
Here.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Shalou.
Does anyone have anything else? I believe I'll need a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. You need a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Paul. This meeting is adjourned.